Good. Person plumber and pipe fitter, etc. He's going to do a presentation for us on this career spotlight. If you're a student tuning in, please let us know what school you're from in the chat and fill in the survey from the RDIEC website and for a chance to win $50. So without anything further, I'll do a quick, this is the fireplace Jeremy put in for me. So that's kind of how I got to know Jeremy. So without anything further, here we go. I'll hit record, stop video.
Perfect. Yes, as Troy said, my name is Jeremy Kerr. I'm a journeyperson plumber, commercial gas fitter, and I actually hold a medical gas installation license as well. This picture is just some work that you could do as a plumber. This is a big scale job. That pipe's about 24 inches in diameter, and we were laying it in thousands of feet of it all last summer, and it's an interesting job with the trenching and all the heavy equipment needed to push that big pipe. That's a sanitary line for the Moose Jaw Air Base. And if we go to the next slide, I do work for CNE Mechanical, and I've been here since my apprenticeship. So basically since 2007. So CNE Mechanical is a mid-sized shop. It's not the biggest shop, but we do still have over 200 pieces of equipment. Most of the journey people are trained with special training on how to operate these pieces of equipment. Excavators, graders, generators, articulating lifts, telehandlers, aerial work platforms, and various other tools. That should be good on that slide. Yeah, this is the same job here. A lot of work goes into laying that piece of pipe. You have to make sure you have the proper grading. There's surveying involved, proper backfill and compaction so the pipe does not move. And it's a long process. We had 12 guys working on it for 4 months to get that in there, along with subcontractors. You can see right here, that is a concrete truck that's pouring a pad for one of the pits where we had to put in some pumps because that was a pumped line. So the sanitary usually just grades, but if you can't get proper grade on it, you actually have to install masticating pumps to get that to properly drain. This is a specialized water treatment system with a couple of pumps, a flow meter, and a heat exchanger. And this is all PVC Schedule 8.
We lost your audio there.
Water treatment system with a heat exchanger and a flow sensor. This is all Schedule 80 PVC. You'll see that most often in water treatment areas where the water is getting chlorinated or would have some other chemical added, where you need specialized piping to stop it from corroding. So some of the challenges of being a plumber is that you do have some difficult jobs to do. And one of the most important things is to always remain safe. We give our employees lots of specialized training to make sure that happens. As a plumber, you have to enter confined spaces. So a big challenge with that is H2S gas, which is very deadly. And you need special training on how to detect it, mitigate the problems, and rescue people if needed. Another big challenge with plumbing, like a health and safety challenge, is we'll be working sometimes in areas that have ammonia and carbon monoxide. So you want to be well trained in what to do in case of emergencies, and just know what kind of hazards are out there. In Saskatchewan, we still have a lot of asbestos in houses and stuff like that, and you need special trained people to remove the asbestos. But as a plumber, you need to be able to recognize what that is so you can identify hazards. You need to be self-motivated as a journey person because you are actually driving the job. You're the one that is completing it, trying to meet the timelines. And the only other big challenge is that the job is susceptible to a downturn in the economy, meaning that if there is less work, there is less work for the journey people and the apprentices. So layoffs and stuff could be a part of one of the challenges that you would have to recognize. The rewards, though, are you get to build basically an entire building from the ground up, whether it's a house or a hockey rink or a school. I have been part of building all of those, from laying the sewer line in below grade to watching them pour concrete to install the heating system, ice melt systems, in-floor heating, rooftop units, gas. There's a lot of work that goes into completing a building, and to be able to complete all that work and see it to where, you know, now the building is 3-4 years old. It's been a school for kindergartners to grade 8s. It's really rewarding. That makes a huge contribution to the local economy. Another great thing about being a plumber is, you know, unless you're on call, it's a nice 8 to 5 work day, weekends off. That's hard to find sometimes in this economy, but it's nice that you get the weekends off, stat holidays, Christmas, we take a whole week off. So that's really rewarding. And, you know, building strong work relationships with the people you work with. One plumber cannot complete a job by himself. You need multiple people to work together and coordinate, and then you're coordinating with all the other trades as well, because you need to work together to make sure everything's going to go in properly and fit, and just have it so that so that the job will be completed on time, because lots of the deadlines are a hard date where, you know, you have to be completely done because school is going to start in 2 months, or the boiler needs to start running in early October. If you don't meet those time frames, then there's a building without heat, or there's a school that can't have kids in it, or the hockey rink, the team doesn't get to play because they tore the old hockey rink down and they're stuck, ruining an entire season. So there are deadlines that have to be met. So some of the compensations are the wage and benefits. C&E Mechanical is a union shop, so we pay union wages and you get union benefits and pension. Other mechanical companies might not be a union shop, but they would pay different wages and have different benefits packages. Not all companies do have benefit packages, so that is something you kind of want to lean into or lean towards when you're going into an apprenticeship, is to find a company that you really like. 8 to 5, Monday to Friday, typical hours. There are emergency calls, after hour calls. I know that we've had sewer lines break in the dead of winter on a Friday afternoon, and we have 8 or 9 people working on it all weekend to get that fixed. That doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. Holidays off, and C&E Mechanical is very flexible with taking holidays. You just have to book them, so that's always nice as well. So this is kind of going to get more into the opportunities in the industry and what you would need to do for schooling, which is, I think, probably one of the most important parts of this talk. There's lots of job opportunities available in the plumbing, heating, and ventilation sectors. The job opportunities include apprenticeship, journeyman level, estimating, quality control, and safety management. So as an apprentice and a journey person, you're always developing better problem solving skills. You can't always solve a problem that you haven't seen before, but as you see more problems, the easier they are to solve. Uh, Critical analysis and reasoning skills is a very important part. Technical skills and communication skills. If you can find the problem, but you can't relay the problem to somebody else, then that's very hard to get the problem solved then. There's also, as a plumber, it can lead into a lot of other industries and trades. As a plumber, the different sectors are commercial, residential, industrial, and mining, oil and gas, and manufacturing. So the steps to becoming a plumber, there's a couple of ways. You could take a pre-employment training, and you could take safety training. That'll just make you a little bit more employable by the company you're trying to apply to, because you already have some of the training and you have some of the knowledge. Another way to start is apply to a mechanical company as a utility worker, and then start in one of their trades. And you'll get the training on the job, basically. And then after so many hours, you're allowed to take your trade schooling. So you need about 2,000 hours of working experience before you can go to trade school. The first two levels for plumber are in Regina, and levels 3 and 4 are in Saskatoon. Now, once you've completed your 4 levels of schooling, you can write your interprovincial exam, which means you are a journeyman plumber all the way across Canada. After you complete that, you have the ability to go back for 2 months more of school to get your commercial gas ticket. With a commercial gas ticket, you can work on any gas appliance. I've worked on boiler trains where the boiler was 400 million BTUs. It sounds like a lot, and it's a steam boiler. So it's a very important ticket to have, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, because if you mess up on something, on a commercial fixture, it could put a lot of lives in danger. Like I said, there's lots of knowledge that you do require to pass the schooling, but you learn lots of that in the field, and also with the plumbing industry, and I think any trade, there's a lot of support in the school if you have difficulty writing tests. So that's always beneficial. The tests can be dictated to you. There's lots of tutoring. Math is a big part of becoming a plumber. And if you have difficulty in math, there's lots of people that are willing to help you within the trade school. So the various roles that you can take after you do become a plumber, or even as an apprentice, there's the residential sector. So that's doing housing, roughing in the drain lines, the water lines, installing the fixtures and appliance. And then I like to call this a technician, but it includes troubleshooting various pieces of equipment after they have been installed and have stopped working. So if the furnace breaks down, a technician would go over there, troubleshoot the problem, repair the furnace, get heat back onto the house. It goes along with water heaters, rooftop units, any piece of equipment really where it involves any heating. Commercial is kind of what I specialized in, and that's building commercial buildings, hockey rinks, schools, car dealerships, things like that. Basically, we are one of the first people to start by laying in the sewer pipes underground, and then we do all the heating to the building, install the fixtures and equipment, do all the gas work and cooling lines. And then the commissioning, once the job was almost completed, we start up the equipment to make sure it's all operating properly. Specialty projects includes installing specialized pieces of equipment. We have done chlorination systems. We have done air systems for the dam in Moose Jaw and water treatment systems. So clarifiers for processing sewage. Industrial projects. Industrial is basically based on how much money the entire project is worth, but if you're working industrially, you can do shutdowns at the co-op refinery, Mosaic, the ethanol plant, other kind of refineries and factories like that. There's always opportunity to acquire new and various skill sets and go for additional training. We have sent people all over the country and into the United States for specialized boiler training on how to repair, fix, and problem solve pieces of equipment. We also have people who hold secondary tickets for checking various pieces of equipment like backflow preventers and other things like that. And plumbing, I know a lot of plumbers who have started off as plumbers and then they've moved into another trade, like pipe fitting, refrigeration, or would get their steam ticket so they could run and maintain steam boilers. The 5 best things about being a plumber is job stability. There are lots of jobs available. Like I said before, it does depend on the economy a little bit. The more training you get and the more knowledge you build, the more employable you are. So always be working towards that to make yourself invaluable. There's lots of advancement opportunities. You start off as an apprentice, you work your way up to a 3rd and 4th year and then journeyman. And then after that, you could be a project foreman, project management, or you could become an owner of the business. There is lots of job variety with a plumber. It's not the same thing every day. It's not overly repetitive if you work with companies. Some companies will have you doing the same thing every day because that's what you're really good at, but you don't want to be shoehorned into just doing one job over and over. You do want to do other things so that you can increase your knowledge base. Developing practical skills. Problem solving is a very big part of being a plumber. Not only do you have to know where you can run things and how, but you have to make sure they're not going to interfere with other parts of the system. Critical analysis. You need to be able to recognize a mistake and fix it so that the system will operate properly. And math skills. So yeah, math as a plumber, know your fractions and you should be good. Social interaction is you do get to work with a lot of people, a lot of different trades, and closely with your management staff and other apprentices. Now, I don't know if anyone has any questions.
I have a question for you, Jeremy. You know, you hear so much about COVID affecting so many different companies or industries. Have you noticed anything with your industry specifically with the COVID pandemic?
Oh, most definitely. We have had to implement safety protocols for all the various places that we go. We do a lot of work at the air base, and they have a specific COVID policy that we have to follow. In the office ourselves, we are all wearing masks if we can't maintain 6 feet from each other. We are taking our temperatures and washing our tools and washing our hands regularly. It has affected every commercial job site that I've been on, where COVID is a very big part of what you do now. Well, they're staggering the trades, so they're not, it used to be just everyone would come in and do their work. Now it's, we want you to do this part, and then the next day someone else will come and do their other part. makes it harder to work together. It needs to be more coordination, and it's has had a pretty big effect on the entire economy too, with people getting laid off because the market has been affected, people opting not to work because they don't want, if they're in a high risk situation, they would rather not catch it. And yeah, it's an ever present thing that we need to stay on top of daily.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if, so you're also seeing it within the company itself though too. Are you as busy as you would normally be at this time of year, or have things down for you?
We are steady. We could be slightly busier. We have some people who have opted to remain home if their spouse is, pregnant and high risk, and you have to go into a lot of places as a plumber. So the ability to catch it or pass it along is very prominent. But I have noticed that the commercial sector for tendering jobs and bidding jobs has taken a downturn.
Jeremy, this is Gord Heidel. I just wanted to compliment you on the projects that you've done and the experience. Like, you don't look to be that old. Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 34.
34.
I got it. I will.
A lot of projects, quite a legacy of projects that you've got under your tool belt there. So,
yeah, some of them I was an apprenticeship for, but the Melville hockey rink was a very big project. I was a fourth-year plumber for that. The project that I managed myself as a journeyman and a foreman would have been the Buffalo Pound wastewater, Emerald Ridge School in White City. That was a big project for me. Moose Jaw Ford, and a couple other smaller projects in between.
Yeah. So at your age to be managing, you've done very well for yourself and created quite a, like I say, a legacy of work behind you. So for young people coming up, they should know that when you start as an apprentice, that's a start, and you're going to be learning throughout your career, and you should be open to that learning and taking on those new roles. If there's one thing that you like about plumbing, what drew you to it?
What drew it to me, or what drew me to it? Well, I took electrical in high school. I really enjoyed that, but my family has a lot of plumbers in it. And when I was coming up, they got a job working for a family member. So that got me in the door as a good part-time job. In the summer, while I was filling some time between going to university, and I began to like the job. I liked what we did. I liked how it was different every day. So I just stuck with it. And I think the most important thing about being or doing anything is your work ethic and the ability to not let a problem stand in your way.
Yeah, that stick-to-itiveness to figure it out. The apprenticeship process is 4 years in length, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer. How long did it take you to work through to journey?
It took me 6 years because I had to decline 1 year because we were doing so much work that they couldn't afford to take me off the tools. Yeah. So if you decline, you get put back on the waiting list again.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm not sure whether there's any other questions, but you did an awesome job of explaining the apprenticeship route and how to get into it, the advantages. And, something we should note with COVID is that the majority of trades were all deemed essential during this.
Yes.
Period. And that says a lot about the trades, doesn't it?
Well, it is. With the cold weather right now, it has been no heat calls all weekend. We had a couple of people on call on the weekend. They were busy. That's all overtime pay for you if you become a technician. Commercially, we had a couple of rooftop units go down. So those all had to be fixed and repaired. I don't like to see it, but yeah, it seems like when the weather turns cold like this, and especially a couple of years ago when we had that minus 50-degree weather for 2 weeks in a row, there's a lot of work to be done there. And it's all essential because if you don't get it fixed, and there's people without heat.
Jeremy, is there sort of a ballpark wage starting for a journey person? Just to give kids an idea of what they would be starting at once they get through the apprenticeship.
Well, when I started as a utility worker, I was making $10 an hour. And then as a journeyman plumber, now I believe it is $28 an hour. But also, even starting out, you'll make more than $10 an hour. I think it's closer to 12 or 15. A lot of that is based on what company you're working for and what kind of benefit packages they have. Because my entire package is closer to $50 an hour because I have full benefits and I have pension. So
that's awesome.
And that's always something that you need to be aware of, because when I was going to first and second year of school, everyone was telling me what they were making, and I'm like, well, I don't make that, and they make a couple dollars an hour more than me. And then we started talking about like, how much do your prescriptions cost and how much do your eyeglasses cost, and my benefits are completely transferable to my wife and my kids, so it's a very important thing to have.
You bet. That's one thing that's often overlooked, is the benefit package that comes with as the whole compensation rather than just the per hour.
Exactly. It took me a couple of years to figure it out, but eventually figured it out. And I'm like, oh, well, you're paying full price for your prescriptions and anything like that. If you had an underlying health problem, you couldn't really afford to do that. But
good.
Yeah,
Anything else
that,
from the office?
I don't know. There's a lot of trades. They're all kind of the same for how you go about starting on them. We, in our shop, not only do we have plumbers, but we have refrigeration technicians. We have sheet metal workers, and those are 2 other trades. Electrical is the same way. You go up through your apprenticeship, you go to trade school, you get your journeyman status, you write your interprovincial, and yeah, so research on the trade that if you are interested in the trade that you want to see yourself doing. There's carpentry, and yeah, so many options when it comes to being a tradesperson.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. That was great. We'll upload this to YouTube. I'll send you a link just in case you want to have a look. But it's been really valuable for the students to have an inside look at a trade.